Ah, it's my face. You don't see this too much anymore unless you watch the Let's Watches on my Patreon and stuff like that. Okay, so let me explain what's going on here. So I was originally going to make this video like all my other videos where I use my avatar, I use a background, I do all that stuff. Um, but I was also going to make a Let's Watch video for my Patreon account where I watched the original How to Train Your Dragon with Audrie Greywind, my friend. And for like the first 25 minutes, I just vent and I just go off on the live action movie. And she starts talking about it and all that stuff. She hasn't seen it yet, but like we do have an interesting conversation about it. And I just think that is way funnier and way more interesting than anything I wrote in my script initially. So I thought, you know what? I think that's the review. I think that perfectly sums up. I can't outdo that at all, because I feel like everything I could say in a script would just be kind of boring because I just don't have a lot to say, honestly. Because it's just a shot for shot remake. There really isn't anything to say outside of that. So, like I said, everything I feel about this movie, I sum up with her, and she adds some commentary, and I think that's way more interesting than anything I could write down. So, yep, that's the review for the live action How to Train Your Dragon. I don't know if I'll do this more often or just have podcasts in general. Like, for now, this is just kind of a one time thing, but like I said, I think this is kind of a special situation. So, yeah, this is the best way to handle this. Yeah, I got to gesture to all of it. um, but yeah, hope you enjoy. Well, I saw it. I saw the movie. I saw the live action How to Train Your Dragon movie.
What a loser.
Well, I got a job
I
to do.
refuse to see it. I am fuck. If anyone on the planet should have gone to see that movie, it's probably me. And I refuse to because I can only sleep at night if I know that I did not contribute in the studio's language to saying that I want more of these. And that would be by spending money on it. I refuse to do that.
I have a job and I have to review it. That's just my take on it. I have to see these movies even if I don't
At
want
least
to.
write it off for taxes, and that makes it a little bit okay. But I don't want to support this. I don't want the studio to think that I want more of these. Therefore, I refuse to see it.
Yeah, in case, I guess I know I'm gonna get comments asking, well, what's Audrey's stance on this whole thing? And it's like, I go ask her. Jeez, don't comment on my video about it. But no, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's your answer. She's not gonna watch these movies.
I've made my stance on it pretty clear from the very beginning.
Me, it's just,
I
oh, it's good.
No, I was just gonna say that I have said for years now, since it was announced, which hasn't been that many. I think it was announced in February or March of 2023, and it's June of 2025, and the movie is out. That I don't think people understand how quick of a timeline that is for a huge blockbuster movie like this.
Yeah.
This thing was assembly line rushed out the ass. So whenever you take into consideration all of that, it's just kind of common sense that it's not going to be the best quality in terms of story, even though you have Dean coming in to direct it. I understand that. But I've said from the beginning that I think that this is going to be one of the higher regarded live action remakes, and it's really looking like it's going to be like that. But I think that people are only thinking that because it's the first non Disney live action remake,
100%, I
as
agree
far
with
as
you.
I'm aware.
That's what I've been seeing. I've just seen everybody every time I say it, what I the exact same thing you say, where it's just a shot for shot remake. People be like, "It's not Disney though; it's DreamWorks. They're gonna actually treat it with respect, and they're actually gonna care about it." I'm like, dude, Dean Dubois literally admitted in an interview that he barely changed the script at all. And after seeing it, yeah, he meant it. It's the same movie. It is the same fucking movie, shot for shot. I'm not even kidding you. Like,
I could tell that from the promotional footage that
right?
I've seen, which isn't even that much.
There's God, every little change this movie made, like if they even count, are so small and insignificant. It's not even worth getting mad over. Like I remember people throwing a tantrum over, "Hey, why aren't the twins twins anymore?" And it's like, does that even mean anything? Do the twins have a bigger role in the story? No, they're the same characters they were in the original movie. Like it doesn't matter anymore.
So
It doesn't matter.
So I had a pretty long conversation with HC this morning because he saw it today as well, and he filled me in on a lot of the changes. And you're right, it is 90, I think 96% completely shot for shot copy paste from the original.
They only
And the stuff that they did add, they didn't expand on in any type of way. They just kind of included it, and
Yeah.
then the last third of the movie is exactly the same as the ending of the original movie. So none of the stuff that got developed early on gets developed at the end.
It doesn't get
Am I
developed.
kind of
It
in the
doesn't
right
get de-
direction?
It doesn't get developed at all. Like there's like a quote unquote subplot with Snotlout, like with his dad. Like apparently his dad is disappointed in him and all that stuff. It's like, oh wow, I wonder where they got that from. And all I'm thinking to myself is, okay, I guess that could be interesting. Except it's only got like 3 scenes dedicated to it. That's it. It's barely. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Look, I saw a piece of promotional footage yesterday, and I need your opinion on this. I asked HC the same question, but I'm curious how you're going to react to it. I saw a piece of promotional footage where Astrid says a quote that I cannot fathom Astrid saying, but clearly it's in the movie, where she definitively says,
You know what else?
I'm afraid to ask.
I'm gonna be chief one day.
I don't doubt it.
please provide me some context on that quote unquote character arc that he gave Astrid this time around that was not in the first movie.
Okay, so first off, it's not an arc. The movie drops that really hard in the second half. But
Well, yeah.
yeah, so it's in the scene where they're going where like it's like after Hiccup saw Toothless in the gorge for the first time, like he drew the drawing of him, and it's like raining, and they go in there and they're reading the Book of Dragons. It's right before Hiccup starts reading the Book of Dragons, and they're all extremely dangerous as labeled. I guess it's supposed to give more interactions between Hiccup and Astrid. Honestly, they kind of write Astrid off as a bit bitchier this time around. In my
That
opinion.
is verbatim what HC said, that they really bitched her up during the first half of the movie.
Like in the original movie, like you get where she's coming from, but like this is the
No,
thing.
she wasn't even that big of a bitch to him in the first movie.
No,
she was
she
like
was-
kind of pitying him,
she
which
was-
we're gonna get into with
she was-
we're
she
about
was
to watch
more-
the original movie.
Yeah,
So
she
we'll
was
talk
more.
about it.
She was more indifferent to him. It wasn't until he started actually screwing up in training and getting in her way that's when she actually started to dislike him. That was then.
Right.
But for the beginning
Yeah.
of the movie, she's just she's very indifferent to him. She doesn't care. She's on her own. She's doing her own thing, Queen. But in this movie, no, she's with the rest of the bullies and like making fun of him and stuff, saying things like, "I guess being the chief's son has its privileges." Like, the fuck is that supposed to mean? Like privileges?
I have some ideas, but I'm not gonna say them on recording.
I'm like, privileges? Like, are you serious? Everybody hates him. What privileges have you been looking at? Are you okay?
I think okay, I have not seen the movie. Let me make that extremely clear. So take all of my opinions, everything I'm saying about it with a huge grain of salt. This is just what I've heard from third parties.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the intention was to make that kind of like a white privilege type of thing, because I heard there's also an immigration theme in the movie.
I do not call it a theme because there was one scene dedicated to it. I don't call that a theme. It's seasoning. That's all it is. It's in the beginning of the movie.
That whole we have Vikings who have immigrated here from other parts of the world. That could be an interesting concept.
It's to justify Astrid being black now.
In intention, I can pretty much guarantee that that's the reason it was introduced. But again, I can see that concept working if you develop it, which it sounds like they did none of.
They have one scene in the movie. It's in the beginning of the movie after the first encounter with dragons. Like, Stoic is playing out the map to go after the dragon's nest, and that's when he starts saying, like, we come from various places all around the world and stuff like that. And that's all it is. Like, you figure maybe Astrid's parents would be in there somewhere, but no, Astrid's parents are still not in the movie or anything like that, so I don't know.
I'm not gonna write off that being something that wasn't originally intended to be in the original movie, because I believe it was in promotion for the second movie where Dean is talking about Hiccup and Astrid's relationship development over the years. He says about Astrid in relation to Hiccup from the first movie that Astrid was thinking, who is this guy? Why does he get to be chief when I've worked hard my entire life? I'm paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure that's a quote from him. And that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I never saw that as Astrid's motivation in the original movie. It was just to be a good warrior. And so it makes me think that maybe originally they intended to do more of that in the first, like, animated movie. And now that he's making this live action movie, he decided to include it. But again, none of it got developed because, and I felt this way about everything that people have told me about the Hickstred scenes in the movie too. It sounds like he kind of wanted to have his cake and eat it too, where he wanted to include these new plot elements with these side characters, Astrid in particular, in the beginning, but also wanted to keep in all of the stuff at the ends that he knows that fans were going to be expecting and wanted to see. And there's no connection between the two, so whenever the ending stuff happens, it feels so unbelievably jarring. I've heard that Nico and Mason had no romantic chemistry in the movie. I've heard that the relationship is extremely rushed and it feels off-putting, which I get that it's rushed in the original movie too, but at least there was some streamline to it where you can understand Astrid having that change of heart in the time that she did because of what happened before. Here it sounds like she fucking hates him, she goes on a romantic flight, and now all of a sudden she's in love with him. That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it is very... You summed it up perfectly. Like, there's, like, you haven't seen the movie yet, you summed it up perfectly. That's exactly how it is. That's exactly how it is. Like, they wrote Astrid...
What can I say? I'm telepathic. I don't think that's the right word.
They wrote Astrid, I was going back to that scene with the Book of Dragons. Like, they're talking about, like... Because, like, in the scene... And this is so weird because, like, by now Hiccup decided he doesn't want to kill dragons, but at the same time, he's, like, giving a bunch of these, like... Oh, my God. It's almost like... How do I describe this? Like, the way he was talking about dragons, like... He was already asking the questions like, maybe we've been wrong about them the whole time. Which I'm like, okay, I understand not wanting to kill them, but I feel like this is way too early for Hiccup to say, maybe we've been wrong about dragons this whole time. You know, maybe they're not as bad as we think they are. Like that's
right, and you're talking about the scene right after he finds them in the cove, correct?
Yeah, this is the first time. He hasn't pet Toothless yet or befriended him. Or
Forbidden friendship has not happened yet, is what I'm trying to get in context.
Exactly,
okay.
And it's like... He's already asking these questions, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I feel like that's a little too early for him to be asking these questions. And on top of that, he's talking to Astrid about this, and this is what gets Astrid to lash out at him, saying like, she literally says to his face, "Stay out of my way."
Oh God. Yeah. As a general statement, I don't plan on seeing the movie in theaters at all. I have an idea where I'll probably react to it on Patreon at some point in the future whenever it comes out on streaming.
Yeah.
And that'll be my initial reaction, and it will more than likely be hours and hours long because just from what people have told me about it, it made me want to, like, that reviewer in me is ascending from hell and wants to dig her claws into it so bad, and I haven't even seen the damn thing. So hearing all of this is very validating for me. Let's just...
I don't want to be mean to her, but there's also the actress, Nico Parker. She's just not good in this movie. Like, I don't know if
it's more than likely direction, but again, from the promotion I've seen, I would have to agree with that. Which that kind of stuck out to me first. And I saw a clip where she meets Toothless for the first time, and she's looking really surprised. And yeah, I was just getting that vibe that like she looks like she doesn't really know what she's supposed to be doing or reacting to. Again, from the stuff that I've seen and from what I've heard, Mason wipes the floor with every other actor in the movie. He gets Hiccup's mannerisms down. He gets the facial expressions down. He looks like he actually wants to be there and has something to prove. So I'm looking forward to seeing it for pretty much that reason alone. And maybe some of the fight scenes I've heard are pretty good. But other than that, it sounds like a complete mess.
It is just the same movie again, shot for shot. The only things I unironically liked, like you said, the effects are actually really good. Like, this is a really good-looking movie, admittedly. Which is crazy, because it actually apparently was cheaper than the animated version. They made the Red Death actually red. Like, I know the Red Death has a red underbelly, but he's mostly blue, which I thought that always bugged me. It's like, why do we call it the Red Death? He ain't red.
I don't even think he has a red underbelly. I think he just has red spots on him.
Also, they make him way bigger in this version. He's like 3 times the size of the original, and it's like, okay, I kind of like that. It's actually kind of cool how big he is. Other than that, like I said, I kind of disagree with your assessment on the direction, because every actor is good except for Nico in this movie. Like, everyone's good. Like,
interesting.
Gerald Butler's good. The guy they got to play Gobber's good. Every actor who plays the other kids are good. She's like the one outliner, and I don't get what the problem is. I mean, there's the famous scene where, like, after Toothless is taken by Stoic to find the dragon's nest, and it's that scene on the dock where Astrid's like saying, "What a mess! Like, you must feel horrible." First off, they cut that scene in half. Half of that dialogue's gone, and they just and they just cut straight to the scene where straight to the part where Astrid says, "So why didn't you?" And that's about it. They also cut the scene where Hiccup and Toothless are like on that little island after the first flight, and like they're chilling and they're eating, and the Terrible Terror show up, and Toothless shoots one of the Terrible Terrors in the mouth, and that's
that's not in there.
And that's where Hiccup just deduces, oh, that's how
dragons are not fireproof on the inside, which makes no sense considering in the Battle of the Red Death, whenever he makes that maneuver with Toothless, he says, "Let's see if this works. Let's see if what works." You had not figured that out because that scene was cut. What the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly. They removed that. Like, I don't understand why. They also removed the great line, "We're Vikings. It's an occupational hazard." That's not in the movie anymore. Which is like, that was actually a really nice line, like a good bonding moment between Hiccup and Stoic. You know.
I also heard that the editing was really bad as well.
I don't think so. I think the editing was actually pretty good, all things considered. Like on a technical level.
Again, I hadn't seen it. This is just what I've heard from reviews, but I was told that the characters will, for instance, say something funny that's supposed to be for comedic relief, and the camera will linger on them for way too long afterwards.
Yeah, there was that
and
one
it just
scene.
Feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, there was that one scene with Tufna when the Terrible Terror show up, and he's like, "It's like the size of my," and there's like a full second before the Terrible Terror jumps on him, compared to the original animated version where it's like.
I still can't get over how at. That scene in particular reminded me of it. How even the trailer of this new live action copied the trailer of the original movie, because they both ended on that witty one-liner line of dialogue.
And like
they ended on the same joke. Are you? How lazy can you be?
Well, we got to pander. We got to pander to the original audience. You know, they're the ones we're appealing to. And watch, I'm still gonna get comments. I'm still gonna get comments telling me that, "Oh, it's for kids. Why are you being so harsh on it?" I'm like, it's not for kids. It's for people who grew up to How to Train Your Dragon who are adults now. Because that's the whole point of these live-action remakes. Because it's all based on that stigma that animation is for kids. So because it's for live action, now that you're a grown-up, now you can enjoy it again. You can't watch the animated version anymore for some reason, which is so stupid. Like what? That makes no sense to me. I've never understood that. And even though Dean said, well, it's not meant to replace the animated version, like, that's the same point you could say about any other live-action remake from Disney, about the Lion King remake, or Lilo and Stitch, or any of them, really. It's not about replacing, it's about trying to satisfy a mindset that's stupid and outdated, that animation is just for kids. Meanwhile, Neja 2 just became the highest grossing animated film of all time, and it's also the 5th highest grossing film of all time in general. Sorry, it's definitively not for children. There's swearing, there's blood, there's tons of violence in the movie. Like I don't want to hear that stigma anymore. It's ridiculous. You can't tell me animation is just for kids when the highest grossing animated film of all time is like PG-13 at best.
You can tell me it's just for kids when you show me proof of a 4-year-old child getting in a car, driving to a movie theater, purchasing a ticket, walking in, observing a movie, and then going back home without parents. Then you can tell me that animation is just for kids in terms of the theatrical run anyways. It's certainly not.
Like, you gotta have Miss Rachel in the movie to basically.
With all of that said, we are going to be watching, and I didn't know this until about a minute before we hit record, we are going to be watching the original How to Train Your Dragon tonight.
Yeah. We've been recording for like 20 minutes. This might be the review itself.
It's the review, and also your counterpart hasn't seen the movie, and I feel like I've gotten a lot of stuff right about it.
You did. You got so much right about it. It's actually kind of stupid.
But you're going to get a lot of comments saying, wait, Audrie's still alive?
Probably. I still get comments of people asking where you're at.
Yeah, just over on Patreon.
Yeah, just go to her Patreon.
I didn't disappear. I'm still here.
Yeah, go to her Patreon, support her there. She's psychic. She already knows how bad the movie is. I don't hate this movie as much as The Nine Realms, because The Nine Realms is actually an extension of the original franchise and goes out of its way to bastardize the whole thing. This, like Dean said, does not replace the original, and for me, there's nothing to really hate, because I know right away what this is. It's a commercial cash grab, that's all it is. And on top of that, it's again just 95% the same exact movie with minor dialogue changes. Astrid isn't well performed anymore. Like, she's kind of not well written this time around, unfortunately. Effects are good. Like, I think the effects are pretty good. I think the flying scenes are really well shot. I like the Red Death now. I liked it before, but I like it more now. That's one improvement I guess they gave this franchise. I guess if there's anything that justifies this remake existing, it's that the Red Death is cooler now. That's all they did. But even then, whatever.
Don't reward this movie for doing the bare minimum.
Other than that, no. This movie did the bare minimum. It is a shot-for-shot remake. There's, like, everything on a technical level is fine. Like, it's well acted, save for Nico Parker. It's visually good. It's just the same movie again. You know? I think this movie would go
But
really...
it's going to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. And the second one was greenlit before the first one even came out. So we're going to get more of them.
And if this movie is any insight, that's also just going to be a shot-for-shot remake. And they're probably just going to get Kate Blanchett to reprise her role as Valka, if anything. As well.
I don't know, because all the news stories I've seen about it are just about how Dean wants to get her back as Valka. Nothing is hinted in the direction that she's interested in doing that.
I mean,
she probably will. I don't know. We'll see. But I just think it's funny that all of, like, that's newsworthy. Dean wants her to do it. Okay.
I mean, she was in the Cinderella live-action remake, so it's not like she's above being in these remakes.
Well, Nico Parker was in Dumbo, the remake. It's, like, kind of half her resume at this point.
She was also in Last of Us, which she was good in. So, like, again, I don't get why she was bad here.
Yeah, I've heard that she's good in other things, which is why I feel like it's more of a direction/script thing here. But I haven't seen the movie, so I can't say for sure. I don't know.
It could be. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to wrap
You have to remember also that this is Dean DeBlois' first live-action movie that he's ever directed.
Yeah.
He's an animation person. Like, he's directed a couple of... I think he directed a documentary about a band from Europe, and he directed a visual album for, I believe, Jonesy, which they're the band who does the end credit songs for the How to Train Your Dragon movies.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he directed their visual album like 15 years ago. But other than that, he's never made a feature-length film live action as the director. So that may explain a few things. Shrug, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it here. Point is, movie bad. Could have been worse, I guess. Not the worst live-action remake I've ever seen, but bad.
Let's cleanse our palates by watching the original, please.
Yes.
I gave you everything, held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me.